Welcome back to the True Geordie YouTube channel, and today we are covering the LA fires once again. If you haven't seen the first episode I did last time, check that one out before you watch this one. But now things are getting even worse. I mean, the death toll is rising. I think it's at 24. 20 people are missing, and now the theories are coming out as to why this has happened. Conspiracy theories, we're going to touch on them. And we're also going to take a look at all of these people in power who are still covering their backs and acting like I've done nothing wrong. Here is some of the footage that has been captured from this unbelievably devastating event. I mean, it's like a movie, man. It's fucking so sad, and I feel bad for everyone who's been caught up in this. God knows how it feels to just have everything you've worked for burned to the ground, and possibly deliberately. A lot of the comments on the last video, climate change, oh, why are you not bringing it up? It's because I don't know what started it, but the more I've looked into it, the more it seems like people started this. And here are some little videos that I've managed to find of people allegedly starting these fires. You can see here, if you look very closely, it's hard to see, but there's a guy who basically walking away after starting a fire on that one. And this guy here was caught carrying a blowtorch in California. Like, what other purpose would you have in this period of time for having a fucking blowtorch, right? Caught red-handed springs to mind. And luckily, civilians actually got a hold of this guy to stop him from doing any damage. Now, that guy is apparently called Juan Manuel Seria Levia, and he is an illegal alien, which kind of is just going to compound the misery of a lot of people there, because it's like, you're fucking not even supposed to be here, let alone doing this shit. This is a clip of a guy starting a fire in a neighborhood, just setting this tree on fire. This is just happening so much. Here's another guy who's been arrested as literally he's just started a fire by the looks of it. They've also caught this guy on camera walking away in the distance, from a fire. And the person in question who's actually recording this is saying he just started that and then walked away. So again, like, God, how many of these clips are there? There's clearly a problem with people doing this, This guy's literally getting undressed after starting a fire. Have some fucking shame, do you know what I mean? He doesn't give a fuck. And he acts like, well, I didn't do nothing. What do you want from me? Fuck me. Now, the guy who originally got pinned down by all those people has since been arrested here. The problem is they're not going to do fuck all to him.
After the interview and additional investigative steps, looking at some additional evidence that was present, they made the determination that there was not enough probable cause to arrest this person on arson or suspicion of arson.
The guy was carrying a blowtorch. There's fires fucking everywhere. What the fuck are you talking about? It's literally like banks being robbed all over, and he's walking around with a bag full of money on his back, little cash in there, and someone being like, did you rob that bank? Nah, not me, not me, mate. Fair enough. Let you go. Get away, little scamp. Enjoy it. Don't spend it all in one place. Now, despite all of that footage, which can easily be found online, the media are still pushing this narrative that this is climate change.
Look at the searches for wildfire. Up 2,400%. My goodness gracious. This is the most amount of people searching for wildfires ever, going back since Google Trends began back in 2004. But look at climate change. Look at the change. It doesn't go hand in hand with wildfires. It's actually down.
I wonder why.
There has been no increase in the number of searches for climate change.
These fuckers are doing anything and everything they can to link this to climate change, because A, climate change is great for people in power. It enables them to take more of your rights away, more of your money away. Beautiful. But also, it enables you to sweep everything under the rug and take no responsibility for the catastrophe of failures from the people in power. It is the perfect place for them to point the finger and blame it on. And yet there is so much evidence to say that this was started by people. And let's be real, this is the Democrats doing this, right? This is where they're going to lose voters, because people aren't that stupid, right? Where people can have the wool pulled over their eyes to a degree, but they're seeing this, and they're literally laughing in people's faces, saying that what they've seen isn't true. Now, one guy has actually gone to the reservoir, which was local to this fire, the Palisades Reservoir, which holds, I think, around 170 million gallons of water when it's full to capacity, and showed that it was empty.
When they first started fighting the Palisades fire, they ran out of water extremely quickly. Wednesday, 3 a.m., they were basically out. And there's been a lot of talk on why this happened. So how long has this reservoir been empty for?
Since February of last year. There was no communication from the Department of Water and Power to LAFD. empty that there was a water supply issue.
The firefighters, when they started fighting the fires, no one informed them that the reservoir was empty. This reservoir holds 117 million gallons of water. The fire department was using a water supply from 3 backup tanks, each one only holding 1 million gallons of water. They say it's closed for maintenance to repair the lid that's on top of it. I don't know a lot about reservoir maintenance, but there's literally no construction materials or vehicles anywhere in sight.
Oh, fuck off, man. This is a disgrace, this. That is without doubt one of the biggest failures around this whole situation. There needs to be an inquest into how that was allowed to happen. That was empty for ages. It was an accident waiting to happen. If that had been full and the firefighters had been able to get enough water out there immediately to calm this problem down before it became out of control, that could have saved so many homes, so many lives, and yet no one gave a fuck. No one who was being paid to, at least. And we touched on this last time. The woman who was hired to be in charge of the water across the board is Janice Quinones, who was giving $750,000 a year to ensure that things like this didn't happen. Here is one of her interviews from before this fire took place.
You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the number one thing that attracted me to this role.
Her job is to keep water tanks full. It doesn't matter if she's got a vagina or a cock. It doesn't matter whether you like women or men or whatever you class yourself as. None of that is relevant to your job. And I don't know why this language is constantly being used in health and safety jobs. There's certain jobs where you may be in an office somewhere where there's people's lives aren't at risk. You're like, yeah, we could do with a few more people from this community and that community. Oh, right, what? Even then, it's a bit of a joke, but still, this is people's lives on the line.
It's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs that we've done in the past from an infrastructure perspective and that we involve the community in that process.
You right those wrongs. Let's hope you can do that by fucking sacking yourself. And you'll remember the mayor, Karen Bass, who was on a lovely little holiday to Africa, as happened, something she always wanted to do. Just so happened that the taxpayers' money somehow managed to fund that for her to get that experience. Good for her. Enjoy yourself, love. In fact, don't come back because you're fucking worthless. As proven here by the Daily Mail's article about how LA Mayor Karen Bass demanded her fire department cut an extra $49 million worth of funding 1 week before the wildfires broke out. Bearing in mind, she'd already taken over $17.5 million from them previously. She is a disgrace. And the fact that she hasn't resigned yet is a testament to how cocky and arrogant and just lie till you die these politicians are. They have no shame, man. You are a disgrace, woman. But remember, if you have been affected by these fires, do go to the website URL and you'll get all the help you need there. Fucking muppet. That $49 million cut would have closed down 16 fire stations. And like, they're already on their knees in that fire brigade, clearly. That's like criminal negligence, really. You know, when you're in a position of power, you're so negligent, you're costing people's lives to a degree where you really should be in jail. Why have a fire brigade at all? I need more trips to Africa.
Angelinos, we're still going through it. And to any of you and all of you that have experienced a loss, the grief, the anger, the just utter shock, I've seen the devastation. It is unbelievable the amount of loss that people have experienced. But we have to get through this crisis, and I know that we will.
How are you going to do that, though? How are you going to use your power and influence as the mayor of LA to help people get through that? What are you going to do? You're going to get the fucking water situation sorted? What are you doing?
I was at the Sylmar command post today, and I saw the work of our first responders and how they've been able to defeat the fires in certain areas.
They would have been able to do a lot better if you wouldn't have fucked it up, bitch.
Much more to go, and we know the winds are going to kick up again. But we got to stick together. We got to stand strong. And then we have to rebuild our city. We're the nation's second largest city, one of the greatest cities in the world. And we stay together and we will rebuild an amazing city.
Look, your life has gone to shit. But on the good news, we're going to rebuild it. You're still thinking about the fact that your loved ones have died and whatever. Forget about them. We're rebuilding the city. It's fine. People are literally thinking like, my life is fucked. Like my house is gone. People have died. And she's just talking about the future. Wake up, woman. You're one of the few people who can actually make change here. And she's just saying, got to stay strong. Got to stick together. Got to stand tall. Fucking hell. So criminally useless. This is a great story because a guy called Rick Caruso actually ran against that mayor and he managed to save his mall, his business. He recognized that the fire risk was severe. He hired private firefighters, trucked his own water in, and saved his mall with fast thinking and fast action. Do you know what she was doing when that was happening? She was in Ghana. And 2 days before she even flew to Ghana, she was made aware of those risks of wildfires. Ignored them. I got a trip to Ghana to get to. I'll see you when I'm back. And it does beg the question, what if they'd voted for that guy, a man who clearly is a fast thinker, a man of action? Where would LA be right now? Given the evidence, I'm willing to bet it'd be in a better place than what it is. Because she is a fucking idiot.
They complained about the cost, but they continue to add services. I want to show you California. As of yesterday, California has added a healthcare benefit for migrants. They are now going to extend free healthcare to migrants between the ages of 26 and 49. That's going to cover 700,000 additional people and cost the state $2.6 billion each year.
You just have to laugh, man. Like the way things are prioritized. Now, I'm not saying don't help people who are struggling. But what I am saying is, can we get a little bit of an order of priority here? Because what the fucking hell are you playing at? You're making cuts to the most important things a city has. Health and safety. You're making cuts like 17.5 million to the fire brigade, another 49 million proposed to the fire brigade, and then you're spending 2.6 billion on people who aren't even supposed to be in that part of the country. It makes no sense. And this is going on all over the world. In my country, in America, everywhere. Politicians are using public money and just doing what they fucking want with it, not what they should be. This should be illegal, man. It's absolutely insane. Now, the movie star Mel Gibson, whose house burned down as he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, has done an interview where he sort of tiptoes onto a theory that this is so negligent, so pathetically poor from the leaders that he almost doesn't believe it's an accident.
I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be? You know, I don't know. Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
Now, self-admittedly from Mel Gibson, that sounds insane. But the more people have looked into why someone in power may want this part of the country flattened, the more they're coming up with reasons. I'm not saying I believe this before anyone jumps on me, but it's important to put some of the interesting things about this case forward. Now, way ahead of this fire, there's been this big plan put forward about turning LA into a smart city in advance of major sporting events such as the Olympics taking place there in 2028. That is going to require a major mound of building, and it's obviously a lot easier to build on a flat surface where people's houses aren't in the way. And I'm not saying that I believe this, but it's a theory that is gaining momentum. Have people been put up to this in order to create a scenario whereby this project is a lot easier to be made happen? This is the brochure for Smart LA 2028. And you see all the people involved. I mean, this is some serious shit, right? And even early on here, it says, smart cities don't happen by accident. They require careful strategic planning and investment to become intelligent urban ecosystems designed for the humans that live there. And this is a major, major rebuild that was going to happen regardless. And some of the photographs here show just how ambitious this project is going to be. And there's even a video that they've made of this plan of completely revamping LA.
First, smart city infrastructure. This is the physical technology used to deliver smart city technologies, such as Department of Transportation's ATSAC traffic management system, which uses 4,500 connected traffic intersections to reduce travel time by more than 13%, or the Public Works Street Lighting's 165,000 LED street lamps that saves $3 million a year in electricity. Second are smart city data tools. This is the ability to share information.
It's fucking advanced shit. Way beyond my level of intelligence. And I'm certainly not sitting here saying that this is deliberately being done in order to make this an easier process for them. But some people are. And look, someone's put this picture together, and I can't say how true this is, but they've got the high-speed rail network that they are looking to build here. And they're saying, look how fucking in line it is with the actual fires that we're seeing here in LA. Is that a coincidence? Possibly. But people like Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, they're just behaving a little too happy and excited about this rebuild for me to feel like it's a bad thing in their eyes that this has all happened. It almost seems like this is a way that they can capitalize on this disaster.
Los Angeles will be host to the World Cup and then the Super Bowl and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic, that only reinforces the imperative moving quickly, doing in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. President of the United States, Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in
Do you know what the right answer would have been? Let's not talk about sporting events. People are dying. People have lost their houses. They don't care about that right now. That's not what they want to hear from me about. Can't help himself, this fucking bozo.
President of the United States, Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA, and we thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine, the opportunity with all of that.
Imagine you're watching as your house is burned to rubble and he's talking about an opportunity for California to shine. Dude, my house is gone. What the fuck are you talking about?
And all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those 3 iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team of looking and reimagining.
Good, he's got a plan. He's got a plan. Brilliant. We look forward to hearing that.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan? Tell us about this Marshall Plan.
We're just starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Remember this guy when he was, I'm literally on the phone to the president right now. Oh, can we hear the phone call? Well, actually, I can't get signal. I'm not actually on the phone. We literally have a plan for the fires right now. What is the plan? Well, we're just starting. What do you want from me? The guy is one of the most psychopathic bullshitters I've ever witnessed in politics. And that is saying something. That is a long list to be at the top of. That's like being one of the best serial killers. Do you know what I mean? This motherfucker is the Ted Bundy of politics. Got the hair, got the charisma, loves himself, but guess what? He is evil to the fucking core.
Talking to city leaders, we're already talking to civic leaders, we're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits, we're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of...
This man literally just word salads and uses hand actions and people believe it. I mean, I'm glad that he's been found out more than anyone. And the fact is, he is gone. His public career is over. And yet he's sitting there thinking, deny till you die, act like nothing's wrong, talk about the rebuild, and I'll be fine. He should be fired immediately for his fucking incompetence. I can't believe he's still in a job. This guy has been in charge of one of the worst land destructions in American history, and yet, take a look at this interview. Remember, people's houses are still burning down. People are still dying. Look at how excited he is.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties.
There we go. The speculators, the people who are going to buy up the properties that have been burned to the ground here and offer a load of money in. Would that have happened had this fire have not have started? Would this opportunity, as he's now turning it into, have been created if not for these fires starting? This is where people are going to look into this and go, people had stuff to gain from this. And when that happens and then a disaster takes place, you wonder, when you see these men walking away with fucking after starting fires, was this coordinated? I'm not saying it was, but it fucking looks bad. The way he's going on right now, he's delusional with happiness. That's weird and wrong.
So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Whoa. A matter of days. That's almost like you've been almost ready and waiting for this to happen. How come you're so prepared to move forward with selling, property away and so ready for that, but you weren't ready for something that they had countless warnings for. Interesting, that. Fuck me, people are mad. I don't know how I found that. It's being reported everywhere, pretty much, that Gavin Newsom cut the fire budget by $100 million months before these fires. Now, he is denying it. He's saying, you know, we've doubled the size of our firefighting army, built the largest aerial firefighting fleet, and increased the forest management tenfold since taking office. But no one else is corroborating that. I think it was like 91 million dead trees that were found in these forests. So you're thinking, well, forest management can't be going great. And then he's talking about building the world's largest aerial firefighting fleet. Yeah, that might be possible. It might not be true, right? I don't trust a word this guy says, but the point is that doesn't mean that you didn't cut the budget. And the fact is everyone is reporting this everywhere. And I think that this deny till you die strategy from him is one that he's going to hold on to, because he's had high aspirations of being president. A case in point is he organised an interview with a podcast, a left-wing softball interview for him, to basically have a nice little way of saying it's not really me. Bear in mind, this guy is in charge. And yet he acts like he hasn't got a clue what went wrong. Now, simply for the fact that your job is to know what went wrong, and the fact that you don't, that makes you a failure alone. Ignorance is not an excuse when you're the motherfucking boss, mate.
I want to know the answers. So I'm the governor of California. I want to know the answer. I've got that question. I can't tell you about how many people, what happened. My own team saying what happened, and I want to get the answers. And when I was getting, I'll be candid with you, wasn't getting straight answers.
Yeah.
I watched the press conference. I met with some of those leaders. We had my team start talking to local leaders, saying what's going on. Our state.
And you weren't getting straight answers from.
I was getting different answers. When you start getting different answers, then I'm not getting the actual story, and they're assessing it, and I get that as well. You have to have a little bit of grace. Back to the point, we're in this emergency environment and everything else. So I just want to determine the facts, but no one has any patience anymore in this weaponized. Back to the grievance of Trump, everyone else. There's immediacy.
Donald Trump's fault again, is it? The man who isn't in charge of the country yet.
And it's hard to get the facts out there unless you have backing of those facts and you can communicate them soberly. And so that's what we're trying to achieve.
I mean, it's just bollocks. Absolute bollocks. And this is the guy who Donald Trump pointed the finger on, because for years, he's been warning this man about this sort of shit.
Have to keep people safe. No looting. Zero tolerance for looting. That's why these guys are
Zero tolerance for looting.
Grateful for them to these critical checkpoints.
That would be a really good stance to take if it wasn't for the fact that he's been community noted on Twitter. California reduced the penalties for all theft crimes, including looting, to a misdemeanor if under the $950 price tag. So as long as you keep it below that, you're good to loot. Crack on. And Gavin Newsom supported that. He's basically legalized theft. I'm laughing because it's so fucking bad, man. And now, a word from our sponsors. Now, I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, from Saudi Arabia to LA, and I know a lot of you've got travel plans for 2025, and there is one app that you have to download, and that app is Saily. Now, Saily is a brand new eSIM service app, and what it does is it gives you a local SIM card that you can use when you're traveling, so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a text back home. They've got eSIM plans for over 160 countries and 8 regions, so wherever you're going, they're going to be able to make sure you're connected. Now, all you've got to do is click the link in the description below, and you can download the app to iOS or Android. Then you buy your plan, just choose the best time frame for you. Then you just install the eSIM on your phone, and when you land at your destination, you can activate your plan instantly. And with Saily, your eSIM only ever has to be installed once, so after each trip, you can turn the eSIM off, and then when your next one comes along, you buy a new plan for where you're going, switch your eSIM back on, and boom, you're back in business. And what I love about Saily is that when I went to LA, the eSIM for them was actually faster than the hotel Wi-Fi. And obviously when I left the hotel, I didn't have to worry about not having any Wi-Fi and all of that nonsense because I was constantly connected. So what you're waiting for? Get sorted for your next trip away by clicking the link in the description below and downloading Saily now. Just go to saily.com/Geordie and use the code Geordie, all block capitals, all one word, to get 15% off your first purchase. And a big thanks to Saily for keeping us connected on our travels, but for now, enjoy the video. Now, Kristen, the woman who's in charge of the fire brigade, has been asked if she's been failed by the powers that be, the mayor of California, etc.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city? It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community. Did they fail you? That is our job, and I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs. Did they fail you? Yes.
That's bad. That is bad. I mean, look, they slashed the budget by 17.5 million, and more proposed cuts were clearly weighing up above her head as well for the future. But then she did decide, with the money that she had, to spend some of it on DEI hires just to make sure we've got more women there, instead of putting it towards the actual job. As much as I feel for her a little bit, she's also a bit of a fucking idiot herself. I mean, how did 3 lesbians become the top earning people in the fire brigade and all the big bosses? Like, what are the odds of that? Was she hiring from her matches on Hinge? How did this happen? I mean, I love lesbians as much as anyone, believe me, but that's unlikely that 3 lesbians just so happened to be the best candidates for those 3 jobs. We're all called Kristen and we're all lesbians. What are the odds of them being the fucking 3 best people? You got a better chance of winning the lottery, man. So I can't let her off completely, even though she's been handed a shit sandwich to swallow here.
The $17 million budget cut and the elimination of our civilian positions like our mechanics did and has and will continue to severely impact our ability to repair our apparatus. So with that, we have over 100 fire apparatus out of service, and having these apparatus in the proper amount of mechanics would have helped. And so it did absolutely negatively impact.
It's a bit late now, though. I understand that she's telling the truth at this point and saying the sad truth of it. But you as a firefighter must know more than anyone. Prevention is the only way. Telling us after the fact is no good. You should have been raising this alarm, screaming it from the rooftops, threatening to resign, doing everything you could to tell them. You are literally putting us in a position whereby we are fucked in a matter of time. And she knew months ago. Let's see what the president's up to. President.
People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770. One-time payment. So they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions. So far, nearly 6,000 survivors have registered to do just that.
$770 for each person impacted so that they can get the essentials to look after their families themselves. They're living in tents right now. I think a lot of these people, it's a fucking nightmare. And you look at the level of funding that we've seen America divert out of the country of taxpayers' money. You're looking at all of these people all over the country working hard, putting into the system. They're giving it away to other countries. It's insanity. Don't get me wrong, little bit of help here and there, but we're talking about tens and tens and tens of billions going out the country. And in these scenarios, when real tragedies happen to the people of America, that's when you're supposed to say, don't worry, you've been putting into the system. We're going to look after you. We're going to look after all of you. And you get a poxy $770, right? Crack on with that. Meanwhile, serious money is tens of billions. You can see you're going to Ukraine, for example. And people in the last video, oh, you're talking about Ukraine. You're damn right people should be fucking looking at that. This is exactly when it matters. It's nothing against Ukraine or the people of it. Fuck me. It's the decision makers who are in charge of a country that are taking the money of the people who live in that country and fucking it off and doing whatever they want for their own self-interests. And I bet you a lot of that money finds its way back into the pockets of these politicians who signed off all of that at a later date, as it always does. How do these politicians who earn a matter of a couple of $100,000 a year or whatever, I think president's on $400,000 a year, always seem to end up to be worth hundreds of millions later on in their careers after they get out of office? It's got the kickbacks. Thanks for looking after her back then. I'll give you the money now. Happens all the time. How's Tony Blair so rich? How are the Clintons so rich? Exactly.
I saw a gentleman that looked like a firefighter. And I asked him if he was okay because he was sitting down. I didn't realize we had him in handcuffs. We were turning him over to LAPD because he was dressed like a fireman and he was not. He just got caught burglarizing a home. So those are issues that are frontline deputies and police officers are dealing with.
It's fucking mental, that, isn't it? Imagine you're dressing up as a firefighter just so you can rob people. In this scenario as well, when people are at their most helpless, I don't expect much from criminals, but do better. Fucking hell, man. That is the lowest of the low, that, like. Now, here's a clip from Donald Trump from about 6 years ago where he talks about forest fires and the potential for this to get out of hand.
We're giving billions and billions of dollars for forest fires in California. There's no reason for those fires to be like they are. They're leaving them dirty. It's a disgraceful thing. Old trees are sitting there rotting and dry. And instead of cleaning it up, they don't touch them. They leave them. And we end up with these massive fires that we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars for to fix. And the destruction is incredible. So I think California ought to get their act together and clean up their forests and manage their forests because it's disgraceful. What's happening should never happen. I go all over the country and I meet with governors. The first thing they say is there's no reason for forest fires like that in California. So I say to the governor or whoever's going to be the governor of California, you better get your act together because California, we're just not going to continue to pay the kind of money that we're paying because of fires that should never be to the extent. They were telling me in a couple of states, I won't even mention their name, it's like a flash. Some grass will burn. It'll be over in minutes. They'll lose 2 acres, 3 acres. At the most, they won't even lose that. And here we are with thousands of acres and billions of dollars every year. It's the same thing every year. And they don't want to clean up their forests because they have environmental problems in cleaning it up. It should be the opposite because you're going to lose your forests. You're losing them. But it's costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars because of incompetence in California. So the people, I'm speaking now for the people of California, they don't want to see this happen. They're getting destroyed. And it's hurting our budgets.
I know a lot of people don't like Trump. Fair dues, right? But when you look at what he's saying in advance of the fact, and then you look at Gavin Newsom, and he's pointing out the incompetence, and you look at Gavin Newsom sat on a motherfucking podcast now going, we just don't have the answers. We want to find out what happened. That is exactly what he was talking about 6 years ago. I mean, there's even tweets from him. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has done a terrible job of forest management. I told him from his first day we met, he must clean the forest floors regardless of what his bosses and the environmentalists demand of him. And he has a really good clip of a guy who I think went into these forests by the looks of it and showed exactly why this happens.
This is what your forest really looks like. That's why when there's a fire, there's total devastation. Because they don't have controlled burns no more. Look at all that ground litter.
He mentioned controlled burns there. I think that's the procedure they use to sort of... A stitch in time saves 9, yeah? We'll have a controlled burn, we'll get rid of a lot of this, we'll manage it, and then that'll stop it from when it's an uncontrolled burn being completely out of control. And there's this sad story that's came out of a child actor, Rory Sykes, who was born blind and had cerebral palsy, who died in the Palisades fire. His mother was unable to carry him out. She literally just did not have the physical strength and had to leave him. I mean, that is just so fucked up. But the internet, being what it is, has managed to find a little bit of humour in the situation.
Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
I'm not saying I would have made that joke, but that woman... Those words that she said, bear in mind she's on 400 grand a year, it's echoing in eternity for her. Like, you are the dumbest fucker ever for that. I'd seen another comment where someone said they should have sent a disabled firefighter to come and save him because after all, it's really important that someone who looks like him saves him. It's just beautiful the way people are exposing the total lack of any logic with all of this. But we do have a happy story to end on. This guy who abandoned his dog in the fire, which I don't know why you need to leave it. It's a small dog. But luckily, 5 days later, he returned and the dog was alive.
It's Tika Tika! It's Tika Tika! It's Tika Tika! Hi, Boo-Boo! How's the fire?
How was the fire? You think he just said? It's a bit of a weird one. Did you enjoy fighting for your life? Fucking hell. Was it fun? Honestly, the terror that this dog's gone through, fuck me.
Oh my God, you're alive! You're alive! Oh, honey! Oh,
that dog is like, what the fuck is this crazy bastard? You left me for dead! You wanted me to die? How will we ever repay this bond?
oh thank you, Jesus! Oh, thank you, God!
God!
Thank you, Jesus, for burning everything I had down, but keeping my dog alive.
NBC! Where's NBC? Where are you, Liz? Thank you! Oh, honey, thank you!
He really reminds me of Will Ferrell when he's in the phone booth in Aquaman. That was a really sweet little moment, wasn't it? At least he's got his dog back. Anyway, let me know what you thought of all of this in the comments below. I mean, who knows if these conspiracy theories are true or false, but one thing that is crystal clear is these lot are so incompetent, it's staggering. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe to the True Geordie YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.